Now, I would like to introduce our notable speaker and the industry leader, Mr. Mrityunjay Pandey. Mr. Mrityunjay Pandey is the head of E&I and digital at Hindalco Moda. Under his leadership, he has held and undertaken many digital projects in Hindalco. As he says, is one of the best and the most impactful projects is the implementation of digital solutions with the help of Covacsis technology, which is our intelligent plant framework. Now, to understand his entire journey, the team efforts, and how did he go about it, I would like to invite Mr. Tarun Mishra, an eminent speaker, um, a career entrepreneur, and the founder and the CEO of Covacsis Technology.
Today's discussion with you, we are going to cover, following things. What is digital? Why digital? Project execution, risk discoveries and mitigations in the digital projects which we undertake. What are the business expectations from the digital projects? Navigating the digital journey across maturity cycle over a period of year, and how to develop a winning developing culture. So we are going to cover and talk all of these in today's webinar. So starting directly, your immense experience, Mrityunjay, in this space is definitely going to act as a guidebook to all of us, to many participants who are at different stages of digital journey. But to begin with, let's kind of, I wanted to understand how did Hindalco and what does Hindalco understand by digital? What is the meaning for Hindalco when we talk about digital? Because I will share, the industry, different people in industry, they have a different meaning of digital in their mind. Some of them, compare digital with sensorization. Some of them compare it with the historians and automations. Some of them put it about the cloud and the AI and ML projects. Actually, they are rightfully so, because each of this definitely make and constitutes the larger ecosystem of digital. But leaving technology aside and leaving the technical infrastructure beside, what actually at the vision level and the big picture meaning of digital for Hindalco?
Yeah, good afternoon, Tarun, and thanks, Sunil. Good afternoon, audience, for joining. So thanks for this question, bringing this question, Tarun. So this is when we are having a session with such kind of session. So definition is very much important. So from an Hindalco perspective, I would say Hindalco being a big conglomerate in metal. So from last 30, 40 years. So we have been a business, and we are amongst the top metal producer, aluminum producer on the globe. So to be to ahead of the competition and having a visionary strategy, we wanted to strategize our vision for next 5 to 10 years ahead. So that's the one thing that for what we have started the digital initiative. So defining digital at Hindalco, we are primarily focused on a few of the key points. So effort reduction of our human workforce, so people who are working at shop floor. So with this digital, if I'm able to reduce their effort in their DWM, daily work management, so that's digital for Hindalco. Then if we are having a faster decision process, in a traditional industry, you will see many of us will observe that at the shop floor, people are waiting for decisions, some of the critical decisions, although they are knowing that there is things which are not going in control, but still they are expecting a decision to come from the top level, from the manager people, from department heads or section level. So that decision process takes a lot of time, okay, in an industrial process. So what we have seen that we wanted to expedite, we have to shorten this decision cycle. For that, we need digital tool. Okay, so this was the second aspect. Then the third one for what digital mean to Hindalco is, we wanted to identify the hidden gaps in the process, if we have a limited resources, if we have a set of assets with us, we have a kind of a set of resources available with us, and we want to have improve our performance. So we need to identify the gaps into the process. For that, we are using digital. So overall, this is the basic definition what we have started. Why digital, and what's the digital for Hindalco? I answered your question.
Yes, no, that's absolutely remarkable. So what I hear you, Mrityunjay, what you are saying is digital is not just sitting at the fringe of the thinking for Hindalco. Hindalco being the core manufacturing company who is the leader in the global landscaping on the metal and aluminum space. Despite that, digital for you is not a tool. It's not a via media, but that's the core business strategy. That's like at the core of the center that transformational, that how do I transform my entire value stream? How do I not think linear but think completely non-linear? How can my same asset possibly give me 30-40% more production? How can I drive down my cost without adding the further input cost to it? So at what I basically hear you say is that it has become the core thinking for the entire organization, not just the senior management, but possibly down the line to the last level of the operator level. And that's what digital has gotten into the DNA. And the way you think manufacturing, digital is not a separate layer, but it's the central layer of thinking manufacturing. Is that the right summary?
Yes, yes. So I would add one more thing. So as on in a global industry, we have important aspects. So for Hindalco, we are having safety, quality, reliability. So these are the three pillars. But now digital is the fourth pillar on which, as a team, we are driving, and we are achieving our targets and our delivering our promises to our customer.
Very nice, very nice. How did you translate the big picture of digital into a smaller manageable projects? What was your immediate need in your mind and in your management's mind, which triggered and which helped you decide for digital to start with? Like, what was the immediate need in the mind you had?
Yeah, so as I am continuing with what we discussed earlier, so I'll be starting with that. So the most important factors which when we started digital in our mind is to primarily identify the hidden gaps in our process. Okay, so in the existing process we are having, we wanted to, with the same set of assets and equipment, we wanted to identify the gaps which are not visible with the human data or manual data entry. Okay, that's the first point. Then basically in a manual data recording system, you will observe that most of the things are very much a personalized experience, giving their beliefs and writing the numbers in an Excel, putting down the data. But so we wanted to have those numbers accuracy. We wanted to check the numbers accuracy, what we are being seen and living with the day-to-day daily work management process. Suppose I'm reporting my asset availability to be 70%. Okay, but actually this 70% includes a lot of setup time, process delays, a lot of things are there. But when you are having a manual recording of those data, those process delays and wastage of time, waiting time, all this gets covered up. You just put a simple statement that it's a downtime. But actually, when you go digital in those data, in seeing those data, which are coming directly from the PLC, so you cannot have any kind of manipulation. So data transparency was the another thing which we wanted to establish in our system. Apart from that, there are a lot of manual. When we started, we seen that a lot of people are putting a lot of effort in preparing some data. Okay, so there are n number of, suppose 5 machine centers are there. So my process people has to go at each machine center and collect the data. Just an example. So we thought that why to do so? Why not bring all this machine center data at a single platform? So in order to waste his 1 hour at the start of the day, if you are coming in an office at 9 a.m. and 9 to 10 a.m., if you are only spending your time in collecting the data, and suppose I'm an engineer or some diploma guy, so I should spend some more time on analysis of those data rather than collection. So these all things are the topmost thing which triggered. And apart from that, aspiration. So initially I told we wanted to aspire our operation to the next level with existing resources. So we need to challenge our status quo. And the last but not the least, so validation of SOP, जो existing SOPs, standard operating procedures. So how well my SOP is in place? Can I challenge its status quo? Okay. So that was in the mind that if this process has been there for 30, 40 years, why can't it change and it can expedite and it can improve my process efficiency? Okay. So these all are the things which triggered us to take on the digital journey.
Yeah, sure. So basically, if I kind of paraphrase it, what you are saying that, before you started, before making a right project, converting the digital vision statement into smaller, manageable projects, the few things which you all did. First was that, where are those hidden gaps? Where are those leakages? Where are those inefficiencies which are hiding? Sometimes because of the manual, engagement by the people with the processes and the machines, by manual reporting, by computation, you can only do limited things, and which leads to a lot of underreporting, a lot of a venue of improvement, whether it's in the quality or cost or productivity, is never comes up. It never comes at the surface. And so those are the one area which you identified. And I think you were talking about earlier that, that how productivity of your factory has gone pre-digital and from post-digital scenario after deploying digital implementation. Then the second point is transparency. Transparency is not just a governance issue, but it is also leads to collaboration. A transparent reporting mechanism, a transparent data system helps you collaborate between departments, whether it's a mechanical, electrical, production, quality, E&I, and improve there. Then you said that there was a lot of people who were engaged in the non-value item, like collating data, putting it in the Excel sheet or some kind of reporting system, or even ERP system, such as production booking, maintenance activities. All of these are being done manually. Now all of it has been converted into automatic and autonomous manner using digital. So these are the things basically which you identified, which helped you build the core foundational layer of the first few projects which you started with.
Yes, absolutely.
Any double click on that? Would you like to add something more here?
No, so it's what you said, Tarun, is exactly what happened. So from an user point perspective, these are the area which, when you start a journey, these are the area, if you will address these things, because we need to drive these things for a transformation kind of purpose. Okay. So if you need to transform anything, you need to get connected with the grassroots level.
So Mrityunjay, let's now take the whole thing forward. So I mean, you spoke about the total meaning of digital. We spoke about how the larger vision was broken down into a foundational layer of digital, 6-7 years ago, and not today when you embarked on the journey of digital. I remember, those days where the plant where we started, there were 28 different individual PLCs in the plant. There were more than 200 of energy meters. There were a lot of VFDs, cranes, weighing scales, and different devices and, standalone devices which were not even connected to those PLCs. So there were PLCs and then there were various independent devices, discrete devices. Then you had cranes and energy. Now, the whole idea is that unlike many in industry who think about trading very slowly and cautiously and taking one smaller step at a time, wherein, for example, such as keeping historian and putting more sensors and, going slow, you not only disrupted this thinking, but you went all the way as is. You said that we will capture data rather than thinking a conventional and a classical automation manner. You will think as a new generation digital optics, and then we will go and as is plant which are coming from different makes and different generations of machine and control system, different make and model, different protocols. Rather than worrying about standardizing them, you give mandate to Covacsis that go and fetch data and demonstrate the whole capability and complete the project in 3 months. I remember you threw this challenge to Covacsis team and we really were excited in the whole journey and the whole project. So what was going in the mind as a customer? What was your thinking? One relation I can see that your digital big picture is as you said, that is becoming the core of Hindalco. So Hindalco now not just think manufacturing, but they think digital manufacturing, and that is being reflected in every decision, and this is no exception. Here also you said, let me not think as a conventional automation guys, but let me think as a new generation, new age digital approach. And rather than standardizing and worrying about harmonization, go straight away, deal with the disparity, deal with the heterogeneity in the shop floor, and complete the project in less than 3.5 months time. What was going on here? What was the strategy, and what was it for?
Yeah, so thanks for bringing this question, Tarun. Actually, this question is very close to my heart. Okay, yeah. So when we initially started the journey, so we were working with some of the big vendors, Honeywell and Siemens. So we started a kind of POC and we connected some of our PLC. So our strategy was clear. We wanted to hook up and fetch the data, which is easily accessible, and we are to be very fast because we do not have enough time, 6 months or 1 year, to establish a set of things and test it. Because if we need to test and fail fast, that was the strategy. If you are success, okay. If you are failing, then adopt the next strategy. So with Honeywell, our experience was not it was not met with our user expectation. We wanted to have some kind of customization. The feasibility to fetch data from older PLC S5. Now we have upgraded it to S7. So that was the initial challenge. So then we discovered Covacsis IPF platform, we found it that it has a capability to integrate very fast and with all kind of systems. So my especially favorite is that IO board, where we had in our Homini grinders, we do not have any kind of fetching mechanism into the data into the means Honeywell regretted that it cannot be done. You need to put new devices and all. But your team, one of your teammates came with a solution that we have a IO board. You just take the sensor data, put milliamps into the system, and you will able to see the data. So that was a very lovely memory I can recall in those days. So that impressed me a lot. That was the important thing, that the vendor or the partner with whom we have started working, he should support you in dealing with your challenges. It should not highlight your you should not be focusing more on that. You need to upgrade this, upgrade that one, rather than going for a historian. So this platform was Covacsis platform is having inbuilt historian into that. So we do not need to bring some historian, because see, IoT was new for us, and we wanted to test it, we wanted to deploy it, we wanted to uh, adapt it in our culture. So uska scalability should be very fast. That was the very important thing. So what we did to gauge the employee interest, because whenever you are deploying some solution in a unit which is very new to the organization, okay, so you need to gain people confidence. You need to have a buy-in of the people. So we gave the challenge to you, to your team. So we started, and after 45 days, all my PLC's data of 22 machine centers were on the dashboard. So that was a very we were very excited. Our team was very excited, because just data ke liye they were running behind the machine centers. All of those data are coming on single click on a platform in 45 days. Okay, so that was a very important part. And then we started with the small desktop projects to take interest. Means people buying into the platform, because if we wanted to do some analysis, if the data is easily visible, so user will also feel empowered himself that yeah, this project and this solution has been done to support my activity. Was the most important thing which changed some of the people mind. Okay, so a strategic decision was made to utilizing existing resources and avoid deploying sensors haphazardly. Okay, so where it was required, when we started to taking the PLC's data, yes, we deployed some of the sensors which were actually needed to analyze and complete your desktop projects. That was true, but suddenly putting a lot of sensors into the system, that was not the strategy. We were putting those things, we are incorporating those into our systems, taking intercourse decisions, intercore correction into the process, into the project. That yes, if we have 5 datas we have with us, and we need other 2 more datas which are not available, and for that we need to put sensors. We were deploying that, and we were taking the data that was driving. So some of the projects we started bearing temperature analysis of our rolling wheels, TCF oil consumption monitoring and its optimization, then turnaround time, then coil genealogy. We wanted to have all the from birth of the coil from caster to the finishing mill. We wanted to have a complete data visibility at one place, which was impossible means previous to that, because for all this data, all these are time series data. So every machine center's data need to be clubbed. So that was very beautifully done by the platform Covacsis. And yeah, so that's all from my side.
So thank you. I will definitely would love to encast that praise which you had you have for Covacsis. But more importantly, I am hearing and for the benefit of the audience here is look, it's extremely important that once you have a digital vision and once you have the start point that these are the smaller project, then think very micro in a very controlled manner, that in order to make the business outcome happen, whatever is the goal for the project, in order to achieve that goal, and laser focus on that goal, and then think about what is the minimalistic cost which you have to incur, rather than going big bang and start buying sensors and hardwares and upgrading your PLCs and buying historians and OPC license, which may yield to disappointment from the ROI point of view down the line. Technically, one may be excited to do all that, but from the business ROI point of view, many times it leads to disappointments. Hence it is important that once I have business goal that this is what I want to achieve through the project, then think that what are the minimal interventions which we need to have, and then have the entire digital solution and strategy around it, rather than thinking big bang. I think that is what has Hindalco has done beautifully, and you have really succeeded in doing that. That has not only increased the rapid deployment time scale, but it has also completely de-risked and eliminated the project risk, because the entire system is going live in 45 days compared to, you know, a global standard of 9 months, 12 months, 15 months. So you have completely de-risked the project. You have complete focus on the ROI, so that you know that this is what I want to achieve. Anything else is I'm not thinking and I don't want at this point of time. So that gave clarity not only to you, but also to, you know, vendor like us, Covacsis. So that we can laser focus on your goal, your business outcome, and then define a solution which is, you know, ought to be as effective and as accurate as need of the hour. And great. So to the fourth move, which I see, because today's topic is winning moves by leaders. So I want to name it as, you know, these are the winning moves by Hindalco, if I may say. Defining and aligning the key performance indicator and the business metrics across functions, different functions, engineering, production, quality, utilities, so on and so forth, and also across hierarchy, you know, operating level to shift supervisor level, to HOD level, to the unit head level, to the cluster head level, to the, you know, all the way to managing director and senior management level. You know, that is easier said than done. It's extremely tedious task in a complex manufacturing setup like Hindalco, right? How did you convert these ROIs into actionable KPIs and the actionable insights, so that you can say that, for example, you know, FO analysis, turnaround time, quality NC compliance, you know, energy consumption in my mills, and so on and so forth. And then, so how did you break it into a smaller KPIs and then yet aligning it with the, you know, the larger goal? If you can also take few examples, that will help the participants.
Yeah, sure. So, see, so initially what we did, we didn't start it with a big picture, say beta cost. Okay. So what we started, we started with the very granular items, which can be easily understood at the shop floor level. So from bottom level, so we started, our expectation was to focus our process, okay, and our lead indicators. Okay. So lead indicators is a kind of SOP adherence, how much we are adhering to our SOP in the process. See what happens. So when we are focusing on our SOP, focusing on our SOP, that improves our process. That means that will ultimately, this adherence to the SOP at shift in charge level is a reduction in rejections at department head level. Then reduction in rejections at a senior unit head level and plant head level, that's a cost to the company. That's a cost to the unit. If you are producing and getting the items, the material goods is getting rejected. So that is how we connected all those things. So this cost has been broken down as a KRA of rejections to the department head. Then at the bottom level, it is coming down as an SOP adherence. So the language which the people understand at the bottom most level, those are the things we joined, and that is how it connected as an expectation. So operators are and our supervisors are expected to do the operations as per SOP. That is their care. Okay. So that is what is expectation from them. So if this is being followed at a department head level, at a process head level, the rejections and the quality should improve. That's the expectation at this level. Ultimately, if this is happening, this will happen. If this rejections is getting under control, so at a unit head level, you are having good cost control on your cost and your productivity. So 100 ton, if you are producing, earlier you were rejecting 20 ton. So if that 20 ton is getting reduced to 15 ton, so ultimately now you are producing, rather than 80 ton, your production is improved to 85 ton, as we have improved. Okay. Then what we demanded at the bottom that analyze the data. That is what is expected from them. Data is a currency. So information, when we started this, we understood the value of the data. Every data has some meaning. Every set of data had some hidden insight into it. So we demanded, we set our expectation to the people at in charges level that you have the data now available with you. Now you need to analyze. So when we started discussing with them that, yes, okay, so if you need to analyze, that is what the ultimate goal of that analysis should be, improve our efficiency. So if you are analyzing something, you should get benefit out of it. Okay. So this is what is the expectation. Then from maintenance point of view, anomaly detection. So I will just explain a bit more on this. So if we have a sensor data, suppose one data is coming from sensor, we are putting a lot of sensors, but how many of us have thought that whether the data from the sensor itself is accurate or not? So we should have this digital tool for on above those data to see that whether the data which are coming from those sensors are accurate enough to give my ultimate results. Okay. Then with these things we divided some very smaller projects. Okay. So bearing temperature analysis, TCF oil consumption analysis. Then we were having pass-wise energy optimization at cold rolling mill. These were the very smaller projects we started with. Okay, and now I would say we have improved a lot. Almost 20-25% we are seeing improvement when we started. Now it's almost in other KPIs in terms of production and this oil consumption, we are all at par of 40%. Okay, so this is how the expectation was set. We build all the architecture and story, or you can call it as a movie, that you have to play these roles. After these roles are being played, we are going to achieve this one. And when we are achieving this one, ultimately our business goal we are going to achieve. That is how was that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You know, every so what if I summarize, and the learning from this particular lever is that, you know, every success has a success factor, and it is important that what is that success factor in a project. Like you said, you know, if I have to drive down my cost, the first reading was that reduce the variability. Now, in order to reduce the variability in my process or reduce the variability in my quality, what is important is not the change in physics and chemistry, not the change in machine, but, you know, all of that is already defined in a company like, you know, Hindalco, right? Because it is running from 20, 30, 40 years. So that's not a new business to you. Everything is already well defined. But the whole challenge lies in whether people who are working, they are adhering to that SOP, they are adhering to that you know, standard. And non-adherence or the differential adherence by different people, different operator in different shift, in different processes across different product and SKUs, leads to that variability. So you identified that the success factor lies in SOP adherence, and that is where the entire measurement through digital, you focused on that. How can I have a complete view and complete measurability that how people are adhering to SOP, and if they are departing, then where, when, why, and then that led to the training program and, you know, upgradation of their skill set and so on and so forth, right? So it's important to identify that what is the, you know, success factor which gives you the success, and you know, entire project has to be around it. Great.
So one thing I would like to add, Arun. So when we started, so all these things, deviations were being monitored as a kind of deviations. But on daily basis, we had SMS alert. So with Covacsis, we started in Hindalco, first time we started the SMS alert in terms of text SMS to the users, which were asking about the deviations and at which machine center, the time, all those details were in those SMS. So we started analyzing the alerts on daily basis now. So when we started, 1100 alerts were coming in a day. Okay. So suddenly, by reviewing those process and improving on the controlling our process within the LCL, UCL, those alerts are now coming down. Now, today in the last day, we saw almost about 29 numbers was there. Okay. So when we started, it was 1100, 1200 alerts.
Wow. So, once we have the projects defined, which is you exactly know what are the drivers of success and the focus around it, and challenge vendor like us, Covacsis, to have a very simple and design thinking around it. I have seen a completely different, larger strategy as well within Hindalco. Over last 7 years, you have driven. Of course, we started, and we are, proud partner. In last 7 years, we have been providing various solutions, and we have improved and evolved quite a bit. But there were many solutions, there were many projects, there were many expansions on the digital landscape, which you and your team has done beyond Covacsis. So let's talk only digital. Now, what is happening that when you are having like AR and VRs and some of them you did with us, some of them you did with another vendor, and all these solutions are working cohesively today. So how did you envisage, and was it always there in your mind that as you evolve digitally, as system gets mature, as organization have a digital maturity, more and more solutions will start coming into the play? So it is extremely important to have a very scalable, very robust, and a system which can support the diversification in the future. And I saw that, that clarity had in Hindalco's mind from day zero, and which is where you have never written off the investment. So every new solution has come, whether it's from us or from any other supplier, any other kind of solution, has beautifully sat on top of Covacsis IPF, beautifully integrated. So you have created a spinal cord, and then you are just adding different organs, and that's how you are evolving. So that is, I think, one of the very winning move, according to me, by a leader like such as yours, and which is where most of the industry miss, and they kind of go off, that they think today, but they cannot envisage tomorrow. In your case, I think that was done very nicely. Your comments on that and your experience and ideas?
Yeah, definitely. So see, when we started our journey, that initially I told that we started some of the POCs with the big vendors, and we dropped that. That was one of the reasons that we wanted such platform with us, because see, when we are putting initiating an digitalization journey, so you need to have all sorts of data from all sorts of devices, whether it is process, whether it is maintenance, whether it is reliability, whether it is from ERP. So when you are putting a platform, it should have compatibility with all those system. We never wanted ki for every solution हम कुछ नया लेके आएंगे. That was never in our mind. We wanted to have one stronger base, and above that we will put all our information. In fact, recently, you know that we had a AR VR module with us, but that's a kind of innovation between both Hindalco and Covacsis, that we deployed the IoT data over the AR. So now, in terms of augmented reality, one of the process in video, when you are so how the process has changed, that was always in our mind, that when we are putting a platform, it should have some kind of benefit generated in our process. It should have some kind of innovation attached to it. Okay. So when we deployed AR, so what we did, we deployed AR, and above that we are putting the data of the IPF platform that is integrated in real time in our video process. So when you wear the Google Glass and you will go to the round at VDU, so you do not need to see and measure the data. The system is designed itself in such a manner that if some temperature or pressures is getting deviated, immediately in your Google Glass you will find it that things are getting red and green and yellow. Okay, so this is how it is informing us that So that's a kind of change in culture. Okay, when earlier my supervisor used to go at the machine center, they will see all those pressure gauges and all those data, note down the shift reading. That is how the traditional culture is now. But now we are aspiring that our supervisor will be wearing the Google Glass and will have a round at the equipment. Okay, and he will be able to visualize the things, record the things without writing any data from his hand. Okay, so that was always in our mind, and thanks to Covacsis team, that it has accepted the challenge. So see, starting all those thing integration, when we started, it was only with the PLCs. After that, we demanded ENMS data, ERP data, Excel integration, manual entries. Then we started data from level 2 system. Then all sorts of data we in phase wise we have planned and we have executed. And anyhow, means at the end of the day, we are getting whatever we are being required. Okay, and now the culture has changed so much at Hindalco that if some of the system is not at all working, or it had stopped, or if people are not getting reports on time, so they are getting very annoyed. Okay, means it is a kind of that their work is being hampered and their job is getting extended now. Okay, so that is how it has engraved into their daily activities, these digital tools.
Yeah, and this is extremely important part that, when we are conceiving any digital project and digital, when you are embarking on a journey, one has to think about tomorrow's and possibilities, that how organization is going to be digitally mature, and hence the kind of solution architecture, solution designing and capability in the platform has to be in a manner which can, take those expectations of the future, and it has a built-in capability. So great, and which is why then it helps you on a continuous basis make change in life of operators and engineers, or production team and quality team, because on a daily basis they are evolving, and then they have an underlying digital infrastructure which supports their aspirations of change, which supports their need, evolutionary need on a day-to-day basis. Because if the underlying digital infrastructure and architecture does not help and does not respond rapidly and quickly to match their need and to address their need, then there will be a sense of fatigueness, and then there will be a gap between the speed which user wants to move versus the kind of readiness which you have. So it's important that the underlying infrastructure has got capability to evolve rapidly for your future maturity. Last move of which the winners I have seen, digital winners are doing, and Hindalco has done it extremely nicely here, is the taking care of the change management. We spoke about the vision, breaking vision into projects. Then we spoke about how did we have converted ROI into measurable KPI, key business performance, for different user, different department, different functions. Post that, we spoke about handling big bang approach versus going disrupted, very non-linear and fast reduction in reducing the complete project risk, or rather eliminating the complete project risk. Post that, we spoke about how did it mature over a period of time, and what kind of system you built in the very first time in place, which took care of the evolutionary need of the organization. The last the important move is in the digital world is the change management. How did you onboard everyone, including the operators, which may not be sometimes diploma holders, sometimes not even diploma holders, and how did you onboarded them, and how did you create that digital practice and digital culture as far as the people is concerned? How did you brought them in the mainframe?
Okay, so that's a very tricky question, actually, I will say. That was a very important part. So changing people mindset is a very difficult task, we all know that. So what we adopted initially, that we identified key young people from our team, and who means those who are very much inclined to the technology and were very kind of innovative in nature. जो नया try करने का, means there was a zeal inside them. We identified those behavior, and we identified five people initially at the very start, and we formed a dedicated team out of those people and allotted them those desktop projects that we started in our second or third question. So they started with this desktop project. They identified the anomaly. They presented. So they did this analysis as a team. Then they successfully identified the output of the project what we are expecting. We were not expecting कि आप ये project कीजिए and you will improve something. You just identify the gaps, the hidden things, the things which are not visible with the naked eyes to the people having 10 to 15 years of experience. You just show them this data, analyze the data, and present it. So that is what is expected initially from them. So they successfully executed those projects and presented their success. There was a very important, a very basic finding from one of the project, and we presented it to our management, the entire team. So we suddenly explored that it could have been identified and done earlier. So that was a kind of reaction to the people जो वहां बैठ के सुन रहे थे. They were thinking कि यार, why didn't we identified it? ये तो daily हमको दिखता है. The thing was that we were not analyzing in terms of data. That was कि the process is as is. Yeah, ऐसे है, ऐसा ही चलता है. We were never gone and sat into an in-depth of this data. हमने उस angle से देखा नहीं उस data को. So that was a kind of reaction those projects when we were presented to the larger group. So when we presented, slowly we gained the mass attraction of people. Okay, so 5-6 people started the project. So the people who have shared their benefit to the larger group. So now the mass was getting attracted and interest was getting generated inside them that yes, this is we should also try that. ये nature, मतलब this interest we ignited into mass mind. उसमें से we as on today we are at 70-80% of the people who are we can say that yeah, every day if we will talk, they will talk in terms of data. That is what we have achieved in our journey. Then gradually we built up the infrastructure and supported the digital initiative. Starting from our from MD sir to the unit head, business head, they all supported in those driving this digital initiative. Established a kind of digital scorecard for each unit. That was the things that brought into a review mechanism how the digital projects are getting progressed at each unit. Then our system was reward and recognition was an important part that started. If some of the groups are doing good projects, we started rewarding them, those people. So then in 2017 we started a digital ambassador concept. Okay, so those 5 and 6 champions just go with, which I said innovative ideas के साथ we identified, we started awarding them as a digital ambassadors. So those title we have given to those champions. Then yearly we started celebrating an annual digital day in our plant. Every plant now we are doing this kind of exhibition kind of thing. We are pulling down the vendors a new technology, demonstrating it to the people, calling one day in a shift wise they are coming and exploring the things and identifying, and that is creating an interest, and also it is helping them to understand where this technology can be used. आप टेक्नोलॉजी ला सकते हैं, बट जो यूज करने वाला बंदा उसको पता होना चाहिए कि yes, this technology can be used at this point of at this location in my plant. So that demonstration part also gave us a good output.
Right. No, you put it in a very simple manner, Mrityunjay, but let me tell you that what basically it's a we need to appreciate is a few things, and we need to highlight. One, you said that you identified few change catalyst agent, few people who are young and innovative, not necessarily technologically savvy, but innovative. And I want to make a difference here. An innovative mind is someone who wants to do new thing, somebody who wants to challenge the status quo. he or she need not to be digitally savvy. He or she need not to be a AI programmer or an analyst or a quantitative in mind. So that's very important. You did that. Once they started showing those little analysis and started showing to the larger folks, and all of them started saying, oh, yes, why didn't we see it? As you said, the reaction was, oh, why didn't we see it for so long, right? And that was important, that many companies I see, they slightly rush to pressurize people that show me the benefit. So you knew that benefit is there. It's a matter of getting people in the groove. And for that first few months, rather than asking, show me what value you have demonstrated, you rather encourage, tell me how are you engaging with the project. Tell me what new thing which you did. Tell me what kind of analysis you are doing, rather than saying why my quality is not improving and cost is not decreasing. So, and since as an early mover, you had a lot of time against any competitive peer to you. So that's very important, that, in early days, allow people to adopt rather than pressurize them to perform as soon as digital project is over. So there is always that journey, which is integral part of the change management. Well, that brings us towards the closer of our dialogue, Mrityunjay. It was a great talking to you, and I think it was most of the 6 winning moves which we spoke about. The audience could take a note, and I'm sure they can go and think about it.